My name is Ethan Rowe, and I am 48 years old. I work as a municipal systems engineer, which means I spend my days checking compliance reports, reviewing infrastructure plans, and making sure everything follows the rules. People think my job is boring, and maybe they are right, but I like it. I like knowing that systems work when you follow them correctly. I like knowing that if you do things the right way, you get predictable results. I have been divorced for 6 years. My ex-wife Erin left me, and I understood why. I was not exciting. I did not surprise her with flowers or weekend trips. I came home, ate dinner, watched television, and went to bed. She wanted more. She deserved more, probably. So when she asked for the divorce, I signed the papers without fighting. I paid my support on time, every month, never missed a deadline. I kept a clean record. I thought that would be enough. My daughter Maya is 19 now. She is in her first year of college. When she was younger, we had a good relationship. Not perfect, but good. We had breakfast together on weekends when she stayed with me. We watched movies. We talked about school. She was not the kind of daughter who ran into my arms or called me her hero, but she was polite and respectful. That felt like enough. Then things changed. It started small. She would take longer to reply to my messages. A day would pass, then 2 days, then a week. When she finally answered, her responses were short, cold. I am busy. I will let you know. Not right now. I told myself it was normal. She was a college student. She had classes, friends, a new life. But it did not feel normal. It felt deliberate. Erin started echoing Maya's words. When I called to ask if everything was okay, Erin would say the same things Maya said, like they had practiced. She needs space. You are creating stress. Maybe it is better if you give her time. I tried to stay calm. I tried to be patient. I thought if I just kept showing up, kept being steady, eventually things would go back to normal. That was my first mistake. One afternoon, I drove to the college campus. I brought Maya a small gift, nothing dramatic. Just a portable phone charger, because I remembered her mentioning hers was broken. I texted her the day before and told her I would be in the area. She did not reply, but I went anyway. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. I sat in the campus cafe and waited. The place was full of students with laptops and coffee cups. I felt old sitting there alone. After 20 minutes, Maya walked in. She saw me immediately. Her face tightened. She did not smile. She walked over slowly, like she was approaching something dangerous. "Hi, sweetheart," I said. I kept my voice calm. I smiled. I pushed the small wrapped box across the table. "I thought you could use this." She did not pick it up. She looked at it, then at me. "Dad, I told you I was busy." "I know. I just wanted to see you for a few minutes. We do not have to stay long." She glanced over her shoulder, like she was checking if anyone was watching. "This is not a good time." "When is a good time?" I asked. I tried not to sound frustrated, but I could hear the edge in my voice. She crossed her arms. "I do not know. I'm not comfortable right now." "Not comfortable?" I repeated. "Maya, I am your father. Why would you not be comfortable?" She looked down. "Gavin has been helping me see things more clearly." The name hit me like a fist. Gavin. Gavin Pierce. Erin's new husband. The man she married 2 years ago. The man who wore expensive shirts and spoke like a consultant. The man who smiled at me like I was a problem he was solving. "What does Gavin have to do with this?" I asked. Maya did not answer. She picked up the box, but she did not open it. "I have to go. Thank you for this." She turned and walked away. I sat there, staring at the untouched coffee in front of me. People around me kept talking, laughing, typing on their laptops. No one noticed me. No one cared. I felt invisible. I left the cafe and walked to my car. I sat in the driver's seat and stared at the steering wheel. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from Aaron. I played it. Ethan, Maya told me you showed up at her school today. You need to stop doing this. You are creating stress for her. She is trying to focus on her classes, and you are making it harder. If you care about her, you will give her space. I listened to it 3 times. Each time, I heard the same thing. I was the problem. I was the stress. I was the one making things harder. I put the phone down and stared out the windshield. The sky was getting dark. The parking lot was emptying out. I felt cold, even though the heater was running. This was not teenage moodiness. This was not Maya being too busy with school. This was something else. This was coached. This was planned. I started the car and drove home. My apartment was small, but it was clean. I kept everything organized. I had a system. I liked systems. I opened my laptop and looked at my calendar. I wrote down the date. I wrote down what happened. I wrote down what Maya said, word for word. I wrote down what Aaron said in the voicemail. I saved everything. Because I knew this was not going to stop. A few days later, I got a message in the family group chat. Aaron had created it a year ago, back when things were still civil. It was supposed to be a way for all of us to stay connected. But now, it felt like a weapon. The message was from Aaron. It had a photo attached. Aaron, Gavin, and Maya all smiling in front of a decorated wall. The caption read, "Planning our blended family photo day. So excited to celebrate our new chapter together." Maya was tagged. I was not. I stared at the screen. I scrolled up through the old messages. There were birthday wishes, holiday plans, reminders about school events. But none of the recent messages included me. I was still in the chat, but I was invisible. I put the phone down and walked to the kitchen. I made coffee. I drank it slowly. I did not respond to the message. I did not react. I knew that was what they wanted. They wanted me to get angry. They wanted me to send a long, emotional message that they could show to other people. They wanted proof that I was unstable. I was not going to give them that. My phone buzzed again. A new message. Unknown number. Stop contacting her. I stared at the screen. I read it 3 times. Then I set the phone down and went to bed. I could not sleep. I kept thinking about the message. Stop contacting her. It was not from Maya. It was not from Aaron. It was from someone else, probably Gavin. I got up and made more coffee. I sat at my small kitchen table and opened my laptop. I needed to understand how this happened. How did my relationship with my daughter go from normal to this? I thought back to the divorce. It was 6 years ago. Aaron and I had been married for 15 years. We met in our 20s, got married young, had Maya right away. For a long time, things were fine. Not passionate, but stable. Aaron worked at a clinic as an administrator. I worked for the city. We had routines. We had a house. We had a daughter. But over time, Aaron wanted more. She wanted excitement. She wanted romance. She wanted someone who surprised her, someone who made her feel special. I tried, but I was never good at that. I was steady. I was reliable. I was boring. When she asked for the divorce, I did not fight it. I thought it was better to be fair. We split everything evenly. I moved into an apartment. Maya stayed with Aaron, but she came to visit me on weekends. We had breakfast together. We went to the park. We watched movies. It was not the same as before, but it was something. For the first 2 years, things were okay. Maya was 13, then 14. She was quiet, but she was present. She answered my calls. She texted me back. She told me about school, about her friends, about the shows she was watching. Then Gavin showed up. Aaron met him at a community event. He worked in finance or consulting or something like that. He had a nice car. He wore expensive clothes. He spoke confidently, like every sentence was a solution to a problem. Aaron was drawn to him immediately. At first, I did not care. Aaron was allowed to move on. I wanted her to be happy. But then Gavin started inserting himself into Maya's life. He started showing up at her school events. He started giving her advice. He started acting like her father. Maya liked him. He made her laugh. He took her to nice restaurants. He bought her things. He made her feel special. I could not compete with that. I was the guy who brought her a phone charger. He was the guy who brought her a new laptop. Over time, Maya started pulling away from me. It was subtle at first. She would cancel plans last minute. She would say she was too busy. She would stop sharing details about her life. And every time I asked what was wrong, Aaron would step in and say the same thing. She needs space. But it was not about space. It was about replacement. I closed my laptop and looked at the clock. It was late, but I called my mother. Dina Rowe, 72 years old, retired librarian. She answered after 3 rings. Ethan? Her voice was soft, concerned. It is late. Are you okay? I do not know, I said. I need to talk to you about Maya. Come over tomorrow, she said. I will make lunch. The next day, I drove to her house. She lived in a small bungalow with a garden in the front yard. She had lived there for 30 years, since my father passed away. She liked routines. She liked order. She liked keeping records. When I walked in, she had already set the table. Sandwiches, tea, and a stack of old photo albums. Sit, she said. Eat first. Then we talk. I sat and ate. She did not rush me. She knew I needed time to organize my thoughts. After lunch, she opened the first album. I have been keeping these for years, she said. Dates, forms, photos. I thought you might need them someday. I flipped through the pages. There were photos of Maya as a baby, as a toddler, as a young girl. There were school forms with my signature. There were birthday cards I had sent. There were calendars with highlighted dates showing when I picked her up, when I dropped her off, when I paid support. You did everything right, Dina said. You followed the rules. You paid on time. You showed up. You were a good father. Then why is she treating me like this? I asked. Because someone is telling her a different story, Dina said. She pointed to a photo of Maya at her high school graduation. I was in the photo, standing next to her, smiling. She used to look at you like this, like you mattered. Now she looks past you. That does not happen naturally. Someone taught her to do that. I closed the album. What do I do? You document everything, Dina said. You stay calm. You do not react emotionally. You wait for them to make a mistake. Because they will. People like Gavin always do. That afternoon, I drove to Aaron's house. I did not call ahead. I just showed up. I rang the doorbell and waited. Aaron opened the door. She looked surprised, but not happy. Ethan, what are you doing here? I want to talk, I said. About Maya, about co-parenting, about how we can make this work better. She crossed her arms. This is not a good time. When is a good time? I asked. Because Maya will not talk to me, and you keep telling me to give her space. But space is not fixing anything. Before she could answer, Gavin appeared behind her. He put a hand on her shoulder like he was protecting her. Ethan, he said. His voice was calm, professional. I think it is best if you leave. I am talking to Aaron, I said. Not you. You are on our property, Gavin said, and you are making Aaron uncomfortable. If you do not leave, I will have to call someone. I stared at him. He stared back. He was smiling, but his eyes were cold. He was daring me to react. He wanted me to yell, to threaten, to do something stupid. Then he could point at me and say, "See? He is unstable." I turned and walked back to my car. I sat in the driver's seat and stared at the house. Aaron and Gavin were still standing in the doorway watching me, making sure I left. I started the car and drove away. I did not speed. I did not slam the door. I did not call them names. I stayed calm. Because I knew that was the only way to win. That night, I got a message from Maya. It was long, too long. It did not sound like her. Dad, I know you are trying to reconnect with me, but I need you to understand that I am not comfortable right now. Gavin has helped me see that I need to set boundaries for my own mental health. I appreciate everything you have done for me, but I need space to grow and figure out who I am without feeling pressured. Please respect my decision. I read it 3 times. Then I saved it. I saved the timestamp. I saved the exact wording, because I knew she did not write that alone. A few days later, my mother called me. "I saw something," she said. "At the community center, Gavin was talking to someone about paperwork. He said something about making it official." "Making what official?" I asked. "I do not know," she said. But it did not sound casual. It sounded planned. I hung up and stared at the wall. My phone buzzed. An email from the school district. "Your access to campus pickup has been changed. Please contact the office for more information." I read it again. Then I saved it, because I knew this was just the beginning. The next morning, I drove to the school district office. It was a gray building with fluorescent lights and vinyl floors. Everything about it felt institutional, cold, procedural. I walked up to the front desk and told the receptionist I needed to speak to someone about the email I received. She asked me to wait. I sat in a plastic chair and watched people move through the hallways. Teachers, administrators, parents. Everyone had somewhere to be. After 20 minutes, a woman in her 40s came out. She introduced herself as a policy coordinator. She did not smile. "Mr. Rowe," she said, "thank you for coming in. I understand you have questions about the change to your access status." "Yes," I said. "I received an email saying my campus pickup access has been changed. I want to know why." She opened a folder and glanced at a document. "We received a concern from a family member. They indicated that there were safety issues that needed to be addressed." "Safety issues?" I repeated. "What safety issues?" "I cannot disclose specific details," she said. "But when we receive a concern from a guardian or a responsible adult in the household, we have to follow protocol." "I am her father," I said. "I have legal rights. I have never done anything that would justify this." "I understand your frustration," she said. "But our priority is the safety and well-being of the student. If you believe this decision was made in error, you can file an appeal. But until that process is complete, the restriction remains in place." I stared at her. She looked back at me with the same blank professional expression. She was not being mean. She was not being unfair. She was just following the rules. And the rules said that if someone raises a concern, the system listens. I left the office without arguing. There was no point. I knew how this worked. Someone had raised a concern. Someone had made me look like a risk, and now the system was treating me like one. I sat in my car and called my friend Caleb Ortiz. He worked as a notary and bank compliance officer. He understood paperwork. He understood systems. "Caleb," I said, "I need your help. Someone is trying to push me out of my daughter's life, and they are using official channels to do it." "What happened?" he asked. I told him everything. The messages, the campus restrictions, the email from the district, the message from Gavin. "This is classic isolation tactics," Caleb said. "They are building a paper trail that makes you look unstable. They are using the system against you." "How do I stop it?" I asked. "You build your own paper trail," he said. "You document everything, every message, every restriction, every date. You stay calm. You do not react. You let them make mistakes. And when the time comes, you show the truth." "What if the truth does not matter?" I asked. "It always matters," Caleb said. "But you have to be patient. You have to wait for the right moment." I hung up and stared at the dashboard. I thought about Maya. I thought about the look on her face in the cafe. She had been scared. Not of me. Of something else. Of disappointing Gavin. Of breaking the narrative. That night, I went to a therapist waiting room. Not because I wanted to, but because Leah Klein, a family lawyer I had contacted, told me it would look good if I cooperated. She said courts and systems respond to people who show they are trying. So I sat in the waiting room and waited for my name to be called. I watched other people around me. Some looked exhausted. Some looked angry. Some looked blank, like they had been through this too many times. When my name was called, I went into a small office. The therapist was polite, professional. She asked me how I was feeling. I told her the truth. I told her I was frustrated. I told her I felt like I was being pushed out of my daughter's life. I told her I wanted to fix things, but I did not know how. She nodded. She took notes. She said all the right things. But I could tell she was documenting everything. This was not about helping me. This was about creating a record that said I was cooperative, a record that said I was stable, a record that could be used later if I needed to defend myself. I left the office feeling empty. I went home and opened my laptop. I pulled out an old folder from my desk drawer. It was labeled Maya Future. I had not opened it in years. Inside were documents, legal documents, financial documents, a trust structure I had set up when Maya was 10 years old. It was designed to help her pay for college, buy a house, start her life. But it had conditions I barely remembered, conditions tied to contact, conditions tied to respect, conditions tied to protection from manipulation. I stared at the documents. I had set this up years ago, back when Aaron and I were still married. I had done it because I wanted to make sure Maya would be okay, no matter what happened. I had done it because I believed in planning ahead. I had never told anyone about it. Not Aaron, not Maya, not even my mother. Because I never thought I would need to use it. I put the folder back in the drawer. I was not ready to open it yet. But I knew it was there. I knew it was an option. I knew that if things got worse, I had leverage. A few days later, I overheard Maya talking on the phone. I had called her to check in, and she put me on speaker without realizing it. I could hear Gavin in the background. "He is just being dramatic," Gavin said. "You do not need to feel guilty. He is the one creating stress." Maya did not respond, but I could hear her breathing. I could hear her uncertainty. I hung up quietly. I did not say anything. I just listened. And I remembered. That night, I called Leah Klein again. I left a voicemail. "I need to talk to you about proper steps. Call me back when you can." She called me back the next day. We scheduled a meeting. I did not tell her everything yet. But I told her enough. I told her I wanted to know my rights. I wanted to know what I could do legally. I wanted to know how to protect myself. She said she would prepare some options. She said we would talk more soon. I hung up and looked at my calendar. There was a date circled in red, a date I had not put there, a date someone else had added. Family Unity Ceremony. I stared at it. I had never heard of this event. I had never been invited, but someone had circled it. Someone had planned it. Someone had made sure I knew about it, even if I was not supposed to be there. I saved a photo of the calendar page. I saved the date. I saved everything. Because I knew that date was important. I knew that whatever was coming, it was going to happen soon. The next week, I met with Leah Klein at her office. It was a small space in a professional building, the kind with framed degrees on the walls and filing cabinets that looked like they had been there for decades. Leah was in her early 50s, with short gray hair and sharp eyes. She did not waste time with small talk. "Tell me everything," she said. I did. I told her about the divorce, about Maya, about Gavin, about the messages, the campus restrictions, the email from the district. I told her about the family group chat, the blocked contact, the feeling that I was being slowly erased from my daughter's life. She took notes the entire time. When I finished, she looked up. "This is a coordinated effort," she said. "Someone is building a narrative. They are making you look unstable without ever having to prove it. They are using the system to isolate you, and they are doing it in a way that is just legal enough to avoid consequences." "What can I do?" I asked. "You document everything," she said. "Every message, every restriction, every incident. You create a timeline. You show the pattern. And when the time is right, you present it in a way that the system cannot ignore. What if it is not enough? I asked. Then we escalate, she said. But first, we need to understand what they want. Because this is not just about keeping you away from Maya. This is about something else, something bigger. I told her about the circled date on my calendar, the family unity ceremony, the feeling that something was being planned without my knowledge. That is your window, Leah said. Whatever they are planning, it is going to happen around that date. You need to be ready. She pulled out a legal pad and started writing. I am going to prepare some filings. Nothing aggressive, just documentation. Letters to the school district, requests for clarification, formal notices that establish your rights as a parent. These things take time, but they create a paper trail, and when the moment comes, that paper trail will matter. How long will this take? I asked. A few weeks, she said. Maybe longer, but you need to be patient. You need to let them think they are winning. Because the moment you react emotionally, you lose. I left her office feeling both hopeful and anxious. I had a plan, I had a lawyer, I had documents, but I still did not have my daughter. That afternoon, I went to the bank. I needed to check on some accounts, some old paperwork related to Maya's future. I sat down at the compliance desk and talked to one of the officers. I asked about account access, about guardianship options, about how beneficiaries worked. The officer was helpful, professional. But as we talked, I noticed something strange. He mentioned that someone else had recently asked similar questions. Someone who was not Maya. Someone who was asking about access to her accounts, about how to change beneficiaries, about how to structure things for tax purposes. Who asked? I said. The officer hesitated. I cannot disclose that information, but I can tell you that if someone is trying to gain control over accounts that are not theirs, there are legal protections in place. I thanked him and left. My mind was racing. Gavin. It had to be Gavin. He was not just isolating me from Maya. He was positioning himself to control her money, her future, her life. I drove home and opened the old folder again, the trust structure, the conditions, the protections I had built in years ago. I read through every page, every clause, every detail, and I realized something. If Gavin tried to gain control over Maya's money, he would trigger the conditions. He would invalidate the trust. He would lose everything. But I could not tell anyone yet. I could not show my hand. I had to wait. I had to let him make the move first. That night, Erin called me. Her voice was different, confident, almost relieved. Ethan, she said, I think it is time we had a conversation, a formal conversation, about Maya's future. What kind of conversation? I asked. There is going to be a mediation, she said, a family meeting, to discuss boundaries, responsibilities, and how we move forward. Gavin thinks it is a good idea. Maya agrees. I think it is time we all get on the same page. A mediation, I repeated. When? She gave me the date. The same date that was circled on my calendar, the family unity ceremony. I will be there, I said. Good, she said. I hope we can work this out peacefully. She hung up. I sat in the dark and stared at my phone. This was it. This was the moment they had been planning. This was the trap. But I was ready. Over the next few days, I finalized everything with Leah. She prepared the filings, the notices, the evidence packet. She told me what to say, what not to say, how to stay calm. She reminded me that the goal was not to win an argument. The goal was to expose the truth. Caleb helped me organize the documents. He made sure everything was dated, signed, and verified. He checked every detail. He made sure there were no mistakes. My mother gave me old photos, old letters, old records. She reminded me that I had been a good father. She reminded me that the truth mattered. I went to the courthouse one afternoon, not to file anything, just to walk through the lobby. I wanted to see the space. I wanted to understand the environment. I watched people come and go. Some looked angry, some looked scared, some looked tired. I realized that most people came here thinking emotion would win. They thought if they yelled loud enough, cried hard enough, pleaded desperately enough, someone would listen. But that was not how the system worked. The system responded to paper, to dates, to verified facts, to evidence that could not be argued away. I left the courthouse and went home. I sat at my kitchen table and rehearsed what I would say. I practiced my tone. I kept my sentences short. I avoided insults. I avoided threats. I stayed calm. Because I knew that when the moment came, I would not win with words. I would win with structure. A few days before the meeting, I got a warning. A mutual friend, someone who knew both me and Aaron, called me. "Ethan," he said, "I do not know what is going on, but Gavin has been telling people you are unstable. He is saying you have been harassing Maya. He is saying you are a risk. I do not believe him, but I thought you should know." I thanked him and hung up. I was not surprised. This was part of the plan. They were preparing the narrative. They were making sure that when the mediation happened, everyone would already believe their version of the story. But I had my own version, and it was backed by facts. The day before the meeting, I drove to the venue. It was a hotel conference room, neutral territory. I parked outside and looked at the building. I did not go in. I just sat there and breathed. I thought about Maya. I thought about the daughter I used to know. The daughter who used to sit with me at breakfast. The daughter who used to laugh at bad jokes. The daughter who used to look at me like I mattered. I thought about the daughter I had now. The daughter who looked past me. The daughter who avoided me. The daughter who had been taught to see me as a problem. I thought about Gavin, about the way he smiled, about the way he controlled the room, about the way he positioned himself as the solution. I thought about the documents in my briefcase, the timeline, the evidence, the trust structure, the conditions. I thought about the moment when everything would come out, the moment when the truth would land, the moment when the narrative would collapse. I started the car and drove home. I did not sleep much that night. I kept rehearsing. I kept preparing. I kept reminding myself to stay calm. The next morning, I got a text from Maya. "I will be at the meeting today. Please do not make this harder than it needs to be." I did not respond. I just got dressed, grabbed my briefcase, and drove to the hotel. When I arrived, I saw them in the lobby, Aaron, Gavin, and Maya. They were standing together, talking quietly. Maya was laughing at something Gavin said. Aaron was smiling. They looked like a family. They saw me. The laughter stopped. Gavin put a hand on Maya's shoulder. Aaron stepped closer to him. They formed a wall, a united front. I walked past them without saying anything. I went to the conference room and waited. A few minutes later, they came in. The mediator was already there. Leah was sitting next to me. The mediator introduced herself. She explained the purpose of the meeting. She said we were here to discuss family dynamics, boundaries, and responsibilities. She said the goal was to find common ground. Gavin leaned forward. "I think we all want the same thing," he said. "We want Maya to feel safe. We want her to be able to focus on her future without unnecessary stress. And right now, Ethan's behavior is creating that stress." He spoke calmly, confidently, like he was presenting a business proposal. Aaron nodded. "I agree. Maya has been struggling, and I think it is because she feels pressured by Ethan. We need to establish clear boundaries." Maya looked down. She did not say anything, but I could see her hands. They were clenched. The mediator turned to me. "Mr. Rowe, do you have anything you would like to share?" I looked at Leah. She nodded. "Yes," I said. "I do." The room went quiet. Everyone was watching me, waiting to see if I would explode, waiting to see if I would cry, waiting to see if I would prove them right. I did not. I stayed calm. I opened my briefcase, and I began. I placed the first document on the table. It was a timeline. Dates, events, messages, everything organized in chronological order. Leah slid a copy to the mediator, another to Aaron, another to Gavin. This is a record of every interaction I have had with Maya over the past 6 months, I said. Every message I sent, every message she sent, every time I tried to reach out, every time I was blocked. The mediator picked up the document and started reading. Gavin glanced at it, then looked at Aaron. Aaron looked confused. I do not understand what this is supposed to prove, Gavin said. It proves a pattern, I said. A pattern of isolation. A pattern of control. A pattern that started the moment you entered Maya's life. That is ridiculous, Gavin said. I have been nothing but supportive of Maya. I have been helping her navigate a difficult situation. By telling her I am unsafe? I asked. By convincing her that I am the problem? Gavin leaned back in his chair. I never said you were unsafe. I said you were creating stress. There is a difference. Is there? I asked. I pulled out another document. This is a notice from the school district. It says my campus access was restricted due to a safety concern raised by a family member. Who do you think raised that concern? Gavin did not answer. Aaron looked at him. Maya looked at him. I was acting in Maya's best interest, Gavin said. She told me she was uncomfortable. I reported it. Did she tell you she was uncomfortable? I asked. Or did you suggest it to her? That is not fair, Aaron said. Gavin has been nothing but supportive. Supportive, I repeated. I pulled out another document. This is a record of questions asked at a local bank. Questions about access to beneficiary accounts. Questions about changing guardianship structures. Questions about tax implications for minors. I slid the document across the table. Gavin's face tightened. Who asked those questions? I said. The mediator looked at Gavin. Mr. Pierce, is this accurate? I was just gathering information, Gavin said. I wanted to understand how things worked. For Maya's benefit. For Maya's benefit, I said. Or for yours. That is enough, Gavin said. His voice was sharp now. You are making accusations without proof. I have proof, I said. I pulled out the final document, the trust structure, the conditions, the protections. This is a legal trust I established for Maya 10 years ago. It was designed to fund her college, her housing, her future. But it has conditions. I placed it on the table. Leah handed copies to everyone. What kind of conditions? The mediator asked. Conditions that protect Maya from manipulation, I said. Conditions that require regular contact between me and her. Conditions that require mutual respect. Conditions that invalidate the trust if anyone tries to gain unauthorized control over her finances. The room went silent. Aaron stared at the document. Gavin stared at me. Maya looked confused. I do not understand, Maya said quietly. What does this mean? It means, Leah said, that if anyone tries to isolate you from your father for personal gain, they lose access to the trust. It means that the funds your father set aside for you are protected from third-party interference. It means that everything your father has done has been for your benefit, not his. Maya looked at Gavin. You said he was the one trying to control me. Gavin did not respond. He was staring at the document like it was a bomb. This is not about control, I said. This has never been about control. This has been about protecting you from people who want to use you, from people who want to replace me, from people who want to take what I built for you and call it theirs. Aaron put a hand on Gavin's arm. Gavin, what is he talking about? Gavin stood up. This is a setup. He is trying to make me look bad. He is trying to turn everyone against me. I am not trying to do anything, I said. I am just showing the truth. The mediator held up a hand. Mr. Pierce, please sit down. We need to address these allegations. There are no allegations, Gavin said. This is just a bitter father trying to hold on to control. Then explain the bank inquiries, the mediator said. Explain the safety complaints. Explain why you have been positioning yourself as Maya's guardian when you have no legal standing. Gavin did not answer. He looked at Aaron. Aaron looked at Maya. Maya looked at me. "Dad," she said quietly, "is this true? Did you really set up a trust for me?" "Yes," I said. "I set it up when you were 10. I wanted to make sure you would always have a future, no matter what happened between me and your mother. I wanted to make sure no one could take that away from you." "Why did you not tell me?" she asked. "Because I did not want you to feel like it was a transaction," I said. "I wanted you to know that I loved you, not because I had money for you, but because you were my daughter. But then things changed, and I realized that some people do not see you as a daughter. They see you as an opportunity." Maya looked at Gavin. He was still standing, but his confidence was gone. He looked cornered. "Gavin," Maya said, "did you know about this?" "I did not know the specifics," Gavin said, "but I suspected he had some kind of leverage. That is why I tried to protect you. That is why I tried to create distance. I did not want him using money to control you." "But you were trying to control her," I said. "You were trying to isolate her from me, so you could position yourself as her guardian, so you could gain access to her accounts, so you could make decisions for her. You were not protecting her. You were replacing me." Gavin's jaw tightened. "That is not true." "Then why did you file a safety complaint?" I asked. "Why did you ask questions about beneficiary accounts? Why did you push for this mediation? Why did you circle a date on a calendar for a family unity ceremony that I was never invited to?" Gavin did not answer. The mediator stood up. "I think we need to pause this meeting," she said. "Mr. Pierce, I need to speak with you and Ms. Rowe separately. Mr. Rowe, please wait outside with your counsel." Leah and I stood up and walked out of the room. We stood in the hallway. I could hear raised voices inside. Aaron's voice, Gavin's voice, the mediator's voice, Maya's voice. Leah looked at me. "You did well." "Is it enough?" I asked. "We will see," she said. We waited. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Finally, the door opened. The mediator stepped out. "Mr. Rowe," she said, "I need to inform you that we are suspending this mediation pending further investigation. There are significant discrepancies in the information provided by Mr. Pierce. The school district has been notified. Separate counsel will be recommended for all parties." "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means," she said, "that the narrative has changed. It means that the system is now questioning what they were told. It means that you have created doubt, and doubt is enough to stop the process." I nodded. I did not feel victorious. I just felt tired. The door opened again. Maya stepped out. Her face was pale. Her eyes were red. She looked at me. "Can we talk?" she asked. Leah looked at me. I nodded. She stepped back, giving us space. Maya and I walked to the end of the hallway. We stood by a window. Outside, the sky was gray. "I did not know," she said. "I did not know about the trust. I did not know about the conditions. I did not know Gavin was asking those questions." "I know," I said. "He told me you were the problem," she said. "He told me you were trying to control me. He told me I needed to set boundaries. And I believed him. Because he was nice. Because he made me feel like I mattered." "You do matter," I said. "You have always mattered." "Then why did you not tell me about the trust?" she asked. "Because I did not want you to think I was using it to manipulate you," I said. "I wanted you to love me because I was your father, not because I had money for you. But I should have told you. I should have been more transparent." She looked down. "I do not know what to think anymore." "You do not have to decide right now," I said. "You can take your time. You can think about it. But I need you to know something. I have never tried to control you. I have only tried to protect you. From people who see you as a tool. From people who want to use you to get to me." She nodded slowly. I need to go. Okay, I said. She walked back toward the conference room. I watched her go. Leah walked up beside me. What happens now? I asked. Now, she said. We wait. The mediator will file a report. The school will review the restrictions. The bank will flag any suspicious activity. And Gavin will have to answer questions. A lot of questions. Will Maya be okay? I asked. I do not know, Leah said. But you gave her the truth. That is all you can do. I left the hotel and walked to my car. I sat in the driver's seat and stared at the steering wheel. My phone buzzed. A message from my mother. How did it go? I typed back. I told the truth. Good, she replied. That is all you can do. I started the car and drove home. I did not feel like I had won. I felt like I had survived. But survival was enough. For now. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. I kept expecting something to happen. A call, a message, an accusation. But nothing came. Then, 3 days after the mediation, I got a call from Leah. Ethan, she said, we need to meet. Today. What happened? I asked. Just come to my office, she said, as soon as you can. I drove there immediately. When I walked in, Leah was sitting at her desk with a stack of documents in front of her. She looked serious. Sit, she said. I sat. The mediator filed her report, Leah said, and it triggered a chain reaction. The school district reopened their review of the safety complaint. They found inconsistencies. They found that the complaint was not based on any verified incident. It was based on hearsay, on suggestions, on narratives. What does that mean? I asked. It means the restriction on your campus access is being lifted, she said. It means the complaint is being flagged as potentially false. It means Gavin's credibility is in question. I felt something loosen in my chest. What about the bank? The bank flagged the inquiries, she said. They contacted me directly. They wanted to know if there was any ongoing guardianship case. I told them there was not. I told them that Gavin had no legal standing to make decisions about Maya's accounts. They have now placed a hold on any changes to beneficiary structures until Maya turns 21. Good, I said. But that is not all, Leah said. She pulled out another document. Erin called me this morning. She wants to talk. She says she did not know what Gavin was planning. She says she thought he was just trying to help. She says she wants to fix things. Do you believe her? I asked. I do not know, Leah said. But I think she is realizing that she backed the wrong person, and now she is trying to distance herself before the consequences land on her too. What kind of consequences? I asked. Legal consequences, Leah said. If it can be proven that Gavin knowingly filed false complaints, knowingly tried to manipulate financial structures, knowingly attempted to gain control over a minor's assets, he could face charges, fraud, defamation, attempted financial exploitation. These are serious allegations, Ethan. I stared at her. What do you need from me? I need you to decide if you want to pursue this, she said. Because if you do, we are going to court. We are going to make this official. We are going to put everything on the record, and it is going to be public. It is going to be messy, and it is going to hurt people. Will it hurt Maya? I asked. Probably, Leah said, but it might also protect her. Because if Gavin gets away with this, he will do it again. To someone else. To another family. To another daughter. I thought about it. I thought about Maya, about the look on her face in the hallway, about the confusion, about the betrayal, about the realization that the person she trusted had been using her. Do it, I said. File everything. Make it official. I want this on the record. Leah nodded. Okay, but you need to prepare yourself. This is going to get worse before it gets better. 2 days later, I got a call from Maya. Her voice was shaking. Dad, she said, can I come see you? Of course, I said. When? Now, she said. I'm outside. I opened the door. She was standing on the porch, holding a small bag. Her eyes were red. She looked exhausted. "Come in," I said. She walked in and sat on the couch. I sat across from her. "I left," she said. "I left Mom's house. I could not stay there anymore. Not after everything that happened." "What happened?" I asked. "Gavin and Mom had a fight," she said. "A big one. She found out he had been lying about a lot of things. Not just about you, about his job, about his finances, about his past. She confronted him and he tried to blame her. He said she was the one who wanted to push you out. He said she was the one who came up with the plan. She kicked him out." "Where is he now?" I asked. "I do not know," she said. "I do not care. I just needed to get out of there. I needed to come here." "You can stay as long as you need," I said. She nodded. Then she started crying. I moved to the couch and sat next to her. I did not say anything. I just let her cry. After a while, she looked at me. "I am sorry," she said. "I am sorry I believed him. I am sorry I pushed you away. I am sorry I did not see what he was doing." "You do not have to apologize," I said. "He was good at what he did. He knew how to manipulate. He knew how to control. You were not the first person he fooled, and you probably will not be the last." "But I should have known," she said. "I should have trusted you." "You were scared," I said. "You were young. You wanted a family that felt normal. He gave you that. Or at least, he made you think he did." She wiped her eyes. "What happens now?" "Now," I said, "you take your time. You figure out what you want. You decide what your future looks like, and I will be here. No conditions, no pressure. Just here." She nodded. "Thank you." That night, I got a call from Leah. "The filings are complete," she said. "The court has been notified. The district has been notified. The bank has been notified. Everything is official now." "What happens next?" I asked. "Next," she said, "Gavin will receive a summons. He will have to respond. He will have to defend himself. And if he cannot, the consequences will be severe." "How severe?" I asked. "Severe enough," she said. "But you need to prepare yourself for one more thing." "What?" I asked. "He is going to fight back," she said. "He is going to try to rewrite the story. He is going to try to make you look like the villain. He is going to try to discredit everything we presented. You need to stay calm. You need to stay focused. You need to let the system work." "I will," I said. 1 week later, I got a call from the mediator. There was a follow-up meeting scheduled. A final meeting, to close the case, to finalize the findings, to make everything official. I arrived at the hotel conference room early. Leah was with me. The mediator was already there. Erin arrived a few minutes later. She looked tired. She looked older. Gavin did not come. The mediator explained that he had declined to attend. He had sent a written statement instead, a statement that denied everything, a statement that claimed I had fabricated the evidence, a statement that claimed I was using my money to manipulate the system. The mediator read the statement aloud. Then she placed it on the table. "After reviewing all evidence," she said, "I have concluded that the initial complaints filed against Mr. Ethan Rowe were not based on verified facts. They were based on narratives constructed by a third party with a vested interest in isolating Mr. Rowe from his daughter. As a result, I am recommending that all restrictions placed on Mr. Rowe be lifted immediately. I am also recommending that the school district, the bank, and all relevant institutions be notified of these findings." She looked at Erin. "Ms. Rowe, I strongly suggest you reconsider your relationship with Mr. Pierce. Based on the evidence presented, his actions were not in the best interest of your daughter. They were in his own interest." Erin nodded. She did not say anything. She looked at me, then looked away. The mediator turned to me. "Mr. Rowe, I want to apologize for the way this process unfolded. You were treated unfairly. Your rights as a parent were undermined, and you handled it with more patience and professionalism than most people would have." "Thank you," I said. Is there anything else you would like to add? She asked. I thought about it. I thought about all the things I could say, all the anger, all the frustration, all the pain, but I did not say any of it. No, I said. I just want to move forward. The mediator nodded. Then this case is closed. I stood up. Leah stood up. Aaron stood up. We all walked out of the room. In the hallway, Aaron stopped. Ethan, she said, can we talk? I looked at her. She looked broken. She looked ashamed. Not today, I said. Maybe later, but not today. She nodded. I understand. I walked to the elevator. Leah walked with me. As the doors opened, I heard raised voices behind us, urgent whispers, footsteps. But I did not look back. I stepped into the elevator. The doors closed, the voices disappeared, and I felt something I had not felt in months. Peace, not victory, not relief, just peace. Because I had done everything I could. I had followed the rules. I had documented everything. I had presented the truth. And the system had listened. Not because I was louder, not because I was angrier, not because I was more emotional, but because I had proof. And proof was the only thing that mattered.